Hi everyone, I'm Carol Serby with the Spruce City Wildlife Association. Thank you very much for joining us here today. Today we are talking to Lis O'Neill, who is one of the heads of the committee for the Salmon support team, otherwise known in our circle as the SST. And she's one of the leads of the organization that goes out for broodstock. So if you don't know what broodstock is, so in August, September, they go around and they actually collect fish out of the streams, and they collect the eggs and the milt from the fish to take them back to the hatchery for rearing. Anyways, Lisa has graciously joined us here today, and she's going to let us know a little bit more about what that process is. How she feels about it, because I know she's totally passionate about it, and a little bit more about how you can get involved in this next season's broodstock capture. Lisa, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us here today. And so tell me, how did you find out about the SST and broodstock capture?
Well, thanks for having me today, Carol. It's great to be here with you and get the word out about our salmon support team and the rest of Spruce City Wildlife Association. So broodstock. So I joined Spruce City probably, I think this is my 4th year now. And I just joined because I wanted to see what it was about and just get some ideas of what's going on in our community when it comes to wildlife and fish and that kind of stuff. It was at one of those meetings that broodstock was brought up, and I was kind of told that if I should at least try it once, go on the river with the group and go and catch some fish. I was a little leery at first. I'm not really a fish eater, but I just thought, hey.
What I understand, the runs up here have been totally decimated, and there's not a lot of fish. So how did you guys track them down?
So out in the Nechako, we do have quite a few people out there in that community that actually keeps an eye out for us. So we have Juno at the HSP. There's a HSP ranch, sorry. And then there's a couple that live right on the river there, and they're great supporters of Spruce City. So they keep their eyes out. They actually kayak on the river, and so they keep their eyes out, and they let us know, hey, I saw some fish. And the year that I started, Dustin and a couple of others had already been on that river, so they kind of knew where the reds were and where they're spawning and where they're holding.
You found out about the SST, you volunteered, you went out in the Nechako. So what was the actual experience like? What did you guys do?
So with the Nechako, we do use a boat. So there's the person driving the boat, obviously, and then there's somebody on the front of the boat with a bucket of net. One person is holding on at the shore, and the boat will back up, and the person on the boat will release the net. And we will walk it down the river. So we're strung out across the river. And we let the net drag down. And as fish get caught in it, then the person on the boat will let it go. It'll swing into shore, and we grab whatever fish are in the net.
And you're not always successful, right? Sometimes you get a fish and there's just nothing left of it, correct?
Yeah, so there's many different scenarios that can happen. We could catch a female that is not ripe. She's full, she's got eggs, but she's not ready to release them. Those fish we would let go. Because she's not ready. We don't want to hold any fish any longer than 24-hour period. We want to let them go. There are some fish that are spawned out. She's already done. So obviously we can't use her. Sometimes males are done. Sometimes they're not releasing, and there's so many different scenarios when it comes to fish. We want a nice little jelly belly on the female to be able to pull her eggs and be able to fertilize those.
Right. And let's just cut to the chase here. When it comes to females, you do have to dispatch them, correct?
Unfortunately, we do.
Yeah.
But just to kind of clarify some information on that, after a female lays her eggs, she dies.
Yeah.
And gets, so we do have to terminate the females. And when we've collected her eggs, I'm not sure about everybody, but I say a silent thank you to her, and we release her back into the river to continue the proper cycle.
I think as hunters, fishermen, outdoors people, whenever an animal sacrifices their lives for us or for the greater good, I think there's a great number of us that say a silent prayer or a tear or whatever. I think that's just part of the hunting culture. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So one of my very first experiences with the salmon support team out on the river was it was a very long day, exhausted. I did get to hold and milt one of the males, and I got to have a little bonding moment with him. I do have pictures, and it was. I don't want to really say spiritual, but there was just such a feeling that I had at that moment with that fish. He was a beautiful specimen, and I got to release him back into the river, and it was quite the beautiful moment. That night when I got home, it was probably after midnight, 1-ish in the morning, and I couldn't sleep. I was exhausted, but I was so wound up that I could not sleep. I was so exhilarated.
Right. Awesome. So what are our plans for this year for the SST?
So this year, right now we do have approximately 80,000 eggs in our hatchery. We've done 3 rivers. We do the Swift out of Valemont. We do the Bow Run out by Barkerville, and we do the Nechako, of course, out of Vanderhoof. So right now all of our babies have hatched, so we're pretty excited about that. We are prepping at the moment to get ready for ponding, which will be coming up shortly.
And that's when you move them from the trays to the troughs, right? Yes,
we move them from the incubation area in the heath stacks, from the trays, and we put them into our big troughs. Yeah. So it's a delicate process, but we're confident that we're going to get this done. But right now we're just prepping for that. So we're cleaning the troughs. We're making sure the netting is correct. We're making sure that we have all of our biosecurity in place. So each individual trough will have its own set of nets and brushes and that kind of stuff.
Can you talk about the water source for the hatchery?
So our water source is wells. We have 3 different wells that feed our hatchery. We do have our recirc system with our upgrade that we just did. Most everything is automated. We have redundant systems, redundant alarms. Just the other day, we had an issue with the temperature in one of our heath stacks. Our newly hatched babies need to have a certain temperature, and it was too high. So it was probably 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm running down to the hatchery to check to see what's going on. And I don't know any other dedicated volunteer organization that would have a group chat, video call at 5 in the morning to go and make sure that these issues were taken care of.
The Spruce City Wildlife Association is made up of a board of directors and the members. So within that group of people, there's a committee that has been created that is specifically to support salmon. So when these alarms go off, they go off to multiple.
So we have this app that sends out a mass text message. I think there's about 5 or 6 of us that get this text message saying that it's either low water level, high temperature, low temperature, oxygen levels, that kind of stuff. It's all monitored. So it sends out this mass text message to all of us, and then of course we end up getting on our group chat and chatting about who's going down, who's available, what can happen. Like right now we have 2 of our members that are on that call list and text message list that are actually out of town. So yeah, we really love these systems so that we can make sure that we're watching these fish. And
it sounds like there's some really great security systems now put in place that are for the benefit and health of the future salmon stocks of the region. That's exactly it. So that's some really awesome information. So I'm wondering, what do we have planned for this August, this September? kind of what's the process for people to get on the volunteer list? If people are wanting to volunteer, what time window should they leave themselves available?
So brood capture starts first or second week in August, and could possibly run straight through to the end of September. Sign up for a Spruce City membership. Anyone that emails in saying that they're interested in helping with brood capture for next year, I do put them on a list. And as we get closer and have at least a tentative plan schedule kind of put in, I will send out a mass email and keep track of those that respond saying they want to help out. You know, we usually make it like a full weekend camping trip type thing, but we are totally open to people if they can just come out for a day. It's completely up to you. Any help that we can get.
I just want to go back and I want to address one word I heard you say, quota. Can you explain where we get our quota from?
We do have to get approval from DFO to be able to get our quotas. So we do put in a production plan to DFO, and then they get back to us with a yay or a nay. One of my focuses is the salmon support team, but being a member of Spruce City Wildlife Association has been rewarding, to say the least.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Lisa. And I guess the overall message is, if you want to belong to Spruce City Wildlife or get involved with the salmon support team, for insurance purposes, you must be a member.
Yes.
But there's a ton of membership benefits, and all that information is available on our website. Lisa, thank you for spending a few minutes with us today and giving us a better understanding on what we're actually doing, one part of what Spruce City is doing down at that little old building right on the Nechako River.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just to kind of put a little quick point out there, if there is anyone out there that wants to become a corporate sponsor of our salmon support team, please feel free to contact us.
Yeah.
We do have sponsorship programs that you could sponsor a river, and we'll have signs and stuff saying, with your logo and stuff on it. So we are fully open to sponsorships, any sort of donations to help out with the costs of these brood captures as well. Go to our website, and you can donate to whatever you want, and your donations can be specified wherever you want it to be spent.
I did a live on that yesterday. I put radial dials on the donation page so that you can actually tell us where to allocate your donations. So we will do that. So Lisa's our